We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're gonna get kicked out of being number 2, you're gonna go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education will tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're gonna get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest. Which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountains. Good evening in the central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, Emily. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the most, is on the Reparations perspective, bringing you those recent hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. How y'all doing, family? Welcome. Let's see here. ScrewTube, welcome Twitter Space, welcome Twitter. It looks like Racebook is putting me through changes yet again, asking for two-party verification and all this kind of nonsense, and won't even allow me to verify. So forgive me, Racebook. I simply can't come to you live over there right now until Racebook gets its act together. Welcome, one and all. I'm not going to detain you long because I've got a lot to do. I'm preparing to travel to celebrate my baby sister's 50th birthday. Just super exciting time for me, and I'm just going to turn up and have myself an awesome time over this extended weekend starting tomorrow. And so I had to come to you before my travels because, you know me, I'm forever pushing my Freedmen protest voter strategy and weaponizing current events to share with you why you should also join me in a protest vote for closed border and vetted reparations candidates only. Yes, family. So I'm going to jump right into it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. For those of you in Twitter Space, let the family know I'm over here getting it in. I'm going to try not to holler. Lord have mercy. I'm going to try to bring the fire without screaming at y'all, but it's enough to make me holler, y'all. I am scorched earth over here. So let's just start with Miss Stacey Abrams, honey. Woo-woo! These Demorats have just been failing us so much. It is just, they're just embarrassing. That's the only word I really have for it. It's out of control, and I'm just done with how they've just been embarrassing themselves. I mean, Stacey has a whole video out with some girl doing some kind of, dance and all this carrying on, twerking and carrying on, child. I just cannot with them. But I want to read this article, and of course, I will be commenting in between. Lord have mercy, if they would just stop bothering me about a subscription so I can just get through it. But yeah, Stacey Abrams, breaking news. Stacey Abrams, Black support plummets after being seen in a video twerking for votes on stage during a concert. And see, this is a type of shameful tactics that these Demorats are deferring to for the vote. I don't see them doing this for any other group. I don't see Jews out here, swinging off of poles, get your booty to the polls, no voting, no vucking campaigns. Stacey herself is in this one video that she's featured with this exotic dancer, and it's just out of control. Now Stacey has reduced herself to actually twerking on stage. Now, this over policies, right? This over reparations. This over an end to qualified immunity. She gets up at this concert and twerks. So let's get into it. Of course, I'm going to be commenting in between. I'll do this segment for about an hour. I'll see if there's anything that my Twitter space would like to weigh in. And if not, I'll go straight to the comments over in ScrewTube and highlight those and share what you've got to say about it, ScrewTube, to my Twitter space and Twitter audience alike. Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams took a serious blow to her campaign after footage emerged of her twerking on stage with rapper Latto over the weekend. Now, this Latto chick is like a Lizzo, okay? These sisters, with some girth to them, sitting up here twerking and carrying on. I mean, these rappers have gotten to a place where they're just really, it's just shameful. They're just out here basically dry humping the stage and doing all manner of thing and twerking like spectacles. There was a time when our ancestors were forced and made to be spectacles. Shout out to our ancestor, Sarah Bartman, who was made a serious spectacle of because of her size, her girth, especially her derriere, whom Kim Kardashian went out, right? And she ended up getting all these implants, like a lot of these girls who later had to take them out because it was making them very sick and killing some of them in some instances. And so here you have Sarah Bartman that was forced to be on display for her, body parts. And now you've got these young people just full out with it. I just had a conversation with my daughter about this very thing. She told me she wanted to be a cowgirl at a Halloween party coming up. And yet the photo she sent me was of this model in some type of really fitted, tight dress with a mock turtleneck, long sleeves. And then, of course, hold on, family. Something's going on with my Twitter space. I'm not done. Hold on, join. Just a second, guys. There we go. Got y'all back. Yeah, then she sends me this photo, and the girl has garters, holding up stockings. And I'm like, I have never seen a cowgirl dressed like this. And she goes on to tell me, well, all the girls are, at least my body's covered. It's one of the fitted kind of bodycon dresses, right? And so although her body's covered, the dress is extremely short. She's got these garters attached to stockings. And she says, well, I'm going to get a cowgirl hat and some cowgirl boots and a little bolero to finish off the look. And it's like, but the garters make you look like, you straight going up over to the club and about to swing off a pole. Like, but this is what she's saying. Well, the girls will be dressed even less than me. They're not going to have on hardly any clothes at the Halloween party. And so this is the type of examples, we're exhibiting for our young people, for our young girls to fall into this trap that they've got to sell sex in everything they do. And now you got a whole candidate getting on stage with this Lotto chick and twerking. And you've got kids and all manner of people in the audience seeing this happen. And they're doing it, with respect to, oh, it's my body, my choice. But some things absolutely need to be more dignified. We don't have to take this to some extreme to constitute abortion, which is really what she's trying to push. You're pushing abortion over reparations and an end to qualified immunity, or even proper housing in eco-safe environments. Why not jobs that are paying an American wage, keeping up with the cost of living? None of that, but you want to force abortion down our throats as if we haven't given far too many babies back to God. Anyway, back to the text. Abrams, who ran unsuccessfully in 2018, joined the rapper during her performance and announced she would be twerking for votes until it was time for Georgians to cast their votes in November. As the beat started up, she turned her back to the audience and began furiously shaking her backside. The faces of the audience members revealed terror, confusion, and concern at the sight of her gyrating pantsuit-covered derriere. After about 30 uncomfortable seconds, the music stopped abruptly, along with Abrams twerking, at which point she turned around, grabbed the mic, and shouted, "If I got to twerk my way to the governor's mansion, then damn it, that's what I'm going to do." Polls conducted the day after the bizarre display showed Abrams' support among Black voters falling by 20 points. Several Black voters indicated they were perplexed and even traumatized by her appearance at the concert. Quote, "I have no idea what that was," said Reginald Sterling, an Atlanta business owner. "I'm still having nightmares about the whole thing." A Black mother who brought her 8-year-old daughter to the concert wasn't too happy about Abrams twerking on stage. Quote, "My baby started crying and asking me what was happening," she complained. "She is so mortified. She still hasn't spoken a word since we left." Quote, "It was absolutely terrifying," the mother added. The smattering asked a young Black server at a local restaurant what he thought of Abrams' antic. "We were unable to get an answer after he threw up his hands and ran away screaming at the top of his lungs." A representative from Abrams' campaign released a statement addressing the criticism. Stacey Abrams is a proud Black woman working for the advancement of Black Georgians. By shaking her ass at Lotto's concert, she was acknowledging that she understands the plight of African Americans. She was only speaking the language of the oppressed. Reports that she is losing Black support only further demonstrates that far too many Black folks are willing to uphold the evils of white supremacy in 2022. Did y'all just hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? I simply cannot. I cannot believe this is how they take our never-ending Holocaust and flip it to constitute and justify their debauchery. This woman is literally equating her shaking her ass as an acknowledgement of our plight. She don't touch reparations other than to tell us we're not getting it. She'll say things like, well, you guys are only 12%, which we all know is a lie. But they didn't fail to do anything for the Asians, who are what? I don't even know. What, 5% of the population? So nobody else, they make excuses when it comes to real, active, tangible things that the Black community needs. And then you want to equate her shaking her ass to her acknowledging that she understands our plight. She was only speaking the language of the oppressed. I don't shake my ass, just like I told my daughter. Have you ever seen me in any outfit like this? Have you ever seen me wear garters out of the house and things of this nature? Like, have you ever seen that? Of course, she retorted, no, because you're old. But that's besides the point. I realize I have to continue to educate my daughter, because otherwise, family, the Instagrams and the TikToks will shape our children's identity and make them feel like they've got to do things like this to be relatable. That's what these idiots are saying, that this act of Stacey Abrams was relatable. And if we don't support it, okay, she's speaking the language of the oppressed. To twerk her ass at a rap concert was speaking the language of the oppressed. You don't think the oppressed would appreciate reparations checks directly depositing or in the mail? You don't think that they would, feel far better about that than you getting on stage twerking your ass and having the people be mortified and clutching their invisible pearls? You don't think that they would like jobs paying an American wage? That's not a language of the oppressed to come up with a solution like that? No. Okay, so now the reports are out there that she's losing Black support. And this trick says it only further demonstrates that far too many Black folks are willing to uphold the evils of white supremacy in 22. You see, and this is a kind of bullshiggity folks tell me about my Freedmen protest voter strategy. It's a protest vote. Both parties suck. How many times do I have to say that? I'm trying to get you to vote in your interest of closing these borders, because if you think it's hard prying our reparations out of the hands of these white demons that owe us, you ain't seen nothing till you try to pry it out of the hands of a Crayola, anti-freedman, hating racist, because the white supremacy is Crayola. Isn't that what I always inform you guys about? It's no longer just white. It's Crayola. And so what happens when you withhold the vote, or you continue down this reckless path of no tangible, no vote, you're really leaving the fate of this country and the fate of this lineage, really. That's really what it's about, in the hands of Crayola white supremacists who seek to replace you and erase you. That's what's happening. And I'm going to prove my point in one of my articles that is forthcoming. But let me finish this nonsense. I just had to stop and take a breath. But not everyone was offended by Twerkgate. And that's a damn shame too, right? That not everyone was offended by Twerkgate. Just like not many people are offended that Raphael Warnock is a minister and Morehouse graduate. Not only a minister, but he's a minister at Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s church, the legendary Ebenezer Baptist Church. And it's mighty bizarre that just like the immigrants, the Latinas, who are now in support of abortion and LGBTQ, they once stood on that conservative square and would more than likely and were more prone to vote the GOP, right? They were more prone to do that than they were the Demorats. But you see, now that the Demorats are giving them our reparations and protections, see, now they're all for abortion and LGBTQ. Wouldn't you be too? If you were getting hooked up with housing and home ownership and jobs over the American freedmen, because that's exactly what's happening with the Freedmen vote. Remember, 86% of our electorate delivered the current Joe Crow administration, right? So for them to sit up here and say not everyone was offended by Twerkgate, that's akin to Raphael Warnock, right? Here you are, a full reverend at Ebenezer, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered for fighting for reparations. You have to step over the homeless to sweep them off of his front porch nowadays. But he's all too willing as a minister, for the sake of the almighty dollar, to forego the church's position on abortion and LGBTQ. I saw him in a video marching with the LGBTQ. And I saw him giving Marcel his ass to kiss, right? While he talked to Becky about her aspirations, right? Didn't you guys all saw that video? If you didn't see it, go to the archives over at the Reparationist Perspective and check it out. Proudly marching with the LGBTQ. I have nothing against, whom folks is sexing. But do I think it should be a platform to obfuscate our civil rights for theirs? Hell to the no. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with whom you choose to sex to become a platform for whom you should now give reparations and protections to, because they got reparations. Joe Crow saw to that. It's in my archives. I may bring it out, to shake it off and share it here on another occasion. But yeah, so now you've got these people in the name of money and power. They're just selling us out, like in your face, like the symbolic nonsense that is making our own ancestors turn over in their graves, for God's sake. How does this make anyone proud to have campaigns called No Voting, No Vucking, and get your booty to the polls, and the recent video Stacey put out with the girl twirling around and carrying on and like she's, at a strip club. And now Stacey's here at a Lotto concert shaking her behind and scaring everybody. So Representative Eric Swalwell, a Demorat in California, said he loved the performance. I wish I could have been there in person to see it, he said with a wink, nod, and a grin. So there's no length that these Demorats will not go to just undermine everything we're trying to get done and accomplished at the grassroots level. Okay, I want to move on to Karen Bass, who's upset with the brothers out here. And upset with whom? Gavin Newsom. Yes. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the live. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Twitter Space, share with your people. Black women leaders. Newsom is turning his back on Karen Bass for mayor. Now, it's no wonder that when we went to speak with Karen Bass, when we were formerly under the ADOS SoCal, right? We went to speak to Karen Bass, and now we see why, nothing happened for our reparations. We done come to find out this chick in bed with the Latinas. It kind of speaks to Marcel's point about why I can't get more traction from the brothers and the sisters who have, integrated into immigration. They are literally abandoning their own people to get in bed with the folks whom they're giving all of our reparations and protections to. So yeah, go ahead. Let's see, who is this? Fuck you, pay me. Let me let one of my Twitter Space comrades weigh in. Go ahead.
Oh, peace, sis. Thank you for bringing me up. And I love your bill, straight up. I was in the last space, and I'm checking out every space, you got coming after this. But I wanted to say something about the rapper Lotto. And mind you, she's a little girl, so I'm not disparaging this little, half Black American freedman, little girl. But I was introduced to Mulatto from my goddaughter when she was on one of these reality shows trying to, she was up and coming. And her name was Mulatto because her mother's white and her father's Black. Then she later changed it to Lotto. You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing a poster or whatever, and like, who is that? My goddaughter told me, that's Mulatto from Jermaine Dupri's show. I said, oh, she had to change that name. Then my goddaughter was like, yeah, just what you was telling me, goddaddy, about that name. She said it was too controversial. She had to change it. So it's like almost like I'll say the T word, tether or whatever. It's almost like a tether. Like she was raised by some white woman. She's a little girl. She's probably like 20 years old. And yet, she's being thrust upon Black Americans who have people like me. I'm 36, but, I done been through John Kerry and, versus George Bush. Actually, I was present during Bush versus Gore. You know what I'm saying? I was present during that. And then when Kerry versus Bush came about, I was voting age, and I voted for Kerry. So you got people coming up from way back when, and we're understanding this shit. So you're presenting this little girl who's biracial at that, has absolutely no understanding. I'm not disparaging this little girl because she's young, straight up, and she's half Black American. So I'm not going to disparage her. I'm going to disparage Stacey Abrams.
That's
because
right.
you're old enough to know better. Just like you don't see me out here. There was a time when I kept up with all the new and present dances, whether it was the butterfly, the Tootsie Roll, or the Bankhead Bounce. I was going to learn how to do it. Even up into the Harlem Shake. I was still in high school when a new dance, I was down in Florida. And when I seen them kids doing the Harlem Shake on one of P. Diddy videos, I said, oh man, I got to learn how to do that crazy move. But at 36, I'm not checking for these new dance moves. Stacey Abrams should know better. And the people who she actually should want to vote for her, we know better. So why is she insulting us like this? With this mulatto half-breed child who didn't even have to come, neither her nor her Black American father, who was on that reality show with her, had the common sense not to name their child mulatto. You're naming your child after a mule. That's what mulatto comes from. A mule is a cross between a horse and a donkey, and they cannot breed, and they are only made to work. So you're calling your child a mulatto. She had to change her name. The mainstream would not accept her with that name. So the fact that Stacey Abrams is using this avenue to reach us after using that stripper in that same tied yellow dress.
Right.
And I'm not in the habit of just running down Black American sisters or even any kind of Black woman. But when you put sisters out there like that, like, God damn. Stacey Abrams doesn't respect Black women. Fuck this about she don't respect Black men. She don't respect Black women either. Can't y'all see?
Right.
She ignores Black men. She gives Black men some crazy, frivolous type policy, but she is outright dragging Black women. And I hope Black women can see that shit. I had to look and see who the yellow dress sister was. She wears that same tired, tight, overexposing yellow dress that's only made for the club. You can't even be seen in daylight in that dress. It's only made for the club. She wears that shit in all her videos. And that is what Stacey Abrams thinks of Black women. Then when it comes to what the Democratic Party thinks of Black men, period, no voting, no bucking. My namesake. I had to change my Twitter name because of that shit. That is the utmost disrespect. And not only is it disrespect, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, man. These people have injected themselves into the most personal and intimate parts of our lives. And they think they're justified in doing it. I'm talking about the Democratic Party now. So I'm going to land my plane. I'm done cooking. Thank you, the Reparationists, because I haven't had a real serious space to cook like this in quite a while. Maybe it's because I ain't been on Twitter, but I haven't had a chance to cook like this in a while. This is a serious topic, and I thank you, sister, and I catch your spaces, and I retweet your spaces, and we all need to retweet this sister's spaces because she comes with nothing but the fire, nothing but the facts, and she's not attached to no personality, no clicks. I'm going to say that right now, and I'm going to say that as a person who is clicked up. I don't care who says what. Shit, damn that. It's certain people I fuck with and some that I don't. But this sister comes, very independently, and there's a place for everything. And I want to affirm and uplift and glorify the place that you have carved out. Even from the beginning of this program, I felt like I'm in something special. I'm about to get something that's productive. I'm about to get something that's going to leave me better than when I came. So thank you, sis.
Brother, I feel like going on. Thank you for your kind words and for seeing me. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I don't take your words lightly. I'm grateful to all of you who've been rocking with me since around, I think, October 2019, when I gave birth to, it was called Friends of ADOS TV, when I first crafted a super PAC with a brother out of Ohio. And I've got a lot of battle scars fighting the good fight for reparations. And those who've been rolling with me from the very beginning, they're also co-founders of the Contemporary Reparations Grassroots movement. And we are your unsung sheroes and heroes in this fight. So for you to bless me and my mic with those beautiful, generous words, you're the reason why I keep going. Just know that. Because lots of folks wish I would stop. But I'm blessed and unstoppable. And you guys, as my comrades, are truly the wind beneath my wings, and why I continue to edutain the masses while advocating hard for the reparations we are long overdue. So I appreciate your words. You're absolutely right. The Demorats are doing very, very diabolical things for the vote. And, even the one representative who greenlit this, claiming he wished he could have seen it. And I believe we're waking up, family. And that's the beauty of it. That's why on the eve of travel, I'm over here teaching and edutaining you. And I'm grateful for every share. That was beautiful. We could have just passed the plate on that one. But I'll keep going. There's more to uncover and discover about the way the Demorats have declared war on American freedmen. And the missile is immigration with the American freedmen vote. It's time to return fire and bring them to their knees for several election cycles. We don't do that staying home. We don't do that no tangibles, no vote. We don't do that by throwing away the missile on a third party that we know don't have a snowball chance in hell. Yeah, it's gonna be war, but it's already been waged on us. Have you ever noticed that when the Demorats have a trifecta, that American freedmen are the only ones in distress? Then you need to do something about that, because our kids are counting on us to finally wake up. Our kids are counting on us to have the backbone of our ancestors who, thank you, Asun. Look, check out the Jumbotron. And Asun has posted something there. But yeah, our ancestors had the backbone to do the work that far too many of us are afraid of a few mean tweets. Trump did me nothing. The GOP did me nothing when Trump was in office. I can tell you what he did do for me. He had a handle on these borders. Folks need to stop running around here talking about Joe Crow is only let in 2 million. It's at 5 million and counting, family. We don't really even know a true count, because he did a lot of night raids and various things to sneak them into this country. And I'm going to show you a video, because I finally found it, of the immigrants that, who was it, down in Texas, was that Abbott, who sent a busload of these illegals over to Kamala's house in D.C. And the immigrants are saying out of their mouths in their very broken English, the border's wide open, as she sits up here and lies to the American public that it's closed. Well, you guys know something? When white folks catch a cold, freedmen catch COVID and die. And so that's how lethal immigration is. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You have to stop this nonsense of no tangibles, no votes, because we ain't got nothing coming either way. So we might as well weaponize the last thing we got left, which is our vote, right? That's all we got. And they are working double time to give these illegals the right to vote all over the country. We're about to get into it. Let's get into the Black women leaders, the Boulay mostly, who are upset that Newsom is turning his back on Karen Bass for mayor. So when I tell you that all of these folks, the whites and the Latinos, are in on it to legislate American freedmen out of the state, that's exactly what I mean. They're in bed together. Now, Bass came to Newsom's rescue during the runoff with Larry Elder, but he has yet to endorse her, because they're in bed together to legislate us up out of here. And I'll say it If I said it once, I'll say it again, because Marcel Dixon made us all aware that you cannot be pro-immigration and pro-reparations. So you have to understand, family, there are a lot of grifters out here pretending to be for those reparations to use you for your money and your votes. You got to talk to your inner Christ and get that inner standing. Your third eye is your first eye. Go ahead, Hassan. Bless the mic.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And as always, thanks, sis, for having me. I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying about protecting the vote and just accepting and recognizing that our erasure is imminent if we don't close the borders and if we don't protect our vote even before this November 8th election. So I think everyone now here is aware of what's happening in D.C., that their council has passed this bill to allow immigrants to vote. It is not a law yet. So I put up in the Jumbotron the information because, of course, Cap, and I see Stacia in the audience. So, sis, if you want to come up and speak, please, hit that mic. But we, between Stacia and Cap, we are launching a full-out attack when it comes to Mayor Bowser to get her not to sign that piece of legislation that has now been forwarded to her. And now we're calling on the nation of the freedmen to bombard her like never before. Just like when it came to California and New York, we need the whole freedmen nation to make her understand you will not sign this piece of legislation. So it's now up in the Jumbotron. We're asking everyone to please start tonight, fill up all of the email boxes, fill up all of the voicemails, and then call their office tomorrow and here on until November 8th, or until she concedes and says that she's not going to sign it. Also, just so that folks will know, although we're not putting out anything in the social media space, please know that we are not letting this go by without a fight. And when I say without a fight, I don't mean just us as the freedmen calling, but we have launched an all-out legal war with them. So for Stacia, who is, if you all don't know, she is the GOP American Freedmen candidate running for the mayoral seat here in the nation's capital. We were together yesterday, made some phenomenal connections. Sis had me out until 11 p.m. at night, but that's just nothing but freedmen work. Go to her website. Please check out her website at staciahall.com. Look and see that she has an American freedman agenda up there. The only main thing that she has up there is all about us. Support her. Please, go to her Cash App. It's Stacia for Mayor 22, I believe. And Stacia, if I'm saying it wrong, please jump on and correct me. And then this weekend, anyone that's in the DMV, we need y'all. We need boots on the ground. We are targeting wards 8 and 7 this weekend to assist Stacia in getting the message out. Ward 7 and 8 is predominantly American freedmen. We're talking about 95% of all of DC American freedmen live in these two wards. And so we're now trying to get the message out to everyone, and we need all support, whether you're in the D, the V, or the M. We need y'all to reach out to, you can either reach out to Cap. Most of you all here know me personally. You can reach out to me via DM. We will give you the information as soon as we can. We will have it also uploaded on Stacia's website so that you can also go there. But the easiest and quickest way, most of y'all have my number. Hit me up personally. Hit up Cap. You can reach us here at Twitter, Facebook, or you can go to captaskforce.org and you can reach us there. And we will get the information to you as to where we're going to be meeting. But family, This is the mayoral candidate for DC. Rather, and I keep saying this, even though she's running under the Republican identifier, she is not a Democrat. She's not a Republican. She is an American freedman candidate running on a Republican platform. She is our hopefully our future mayor for the nation's capital. And if we don't make it this round, then we absolutely intend on crushing the Democrats by letting them see how many votes we secured. And so know that when we come back in 2024, we will take the mayoral seat. That is my personal commitment to her, as she has committed to us in the DMV to continue the relationship with us. We need your support. If you're here in the DMV, please reach out. We will be out in the wards on Saturday and probably Sunday if people are also available. But even with that, please, the entire Freedman Nation, as we raised up for California and for New York, we need you all to raise up and help us out. Bombard Muriel Bowser's phone number and her emails, her chief of staff. We will be putting out more information every day from here on out to ensure that they know we will not take our foot off of their necks until we kill any potential opportunity for an illegal person to vote in our political system that will eventually completely render us powerless. And I land. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so much for blessing the mic. I see you, Vuck, you pay me. I'm going to get to you in a moment. Let me get this thought out. But I want to piggyback off of what she shared, because when you're talking about the DC Council, 7 of those members are Black. There was only one white woman that voted against the bill. And I don't even know if those 7 are all American freedmen. So this is what happens when we withhold the vote, or no tangible, no vote. We leave a space for them to take over our communities and give themselves rights and entitlements that our ancestors fought and died for. Every immigrant in this country should be beholding to us, but the only kind of immigrant this country imports are the ones that are anti-freedmen, racist, wanton white supremacist, Crayola kind. They don't import any group that stands in solidarity with American freedmen. So I want to also talk a little bit about Stacia. You know, it's a lot for Cap, a son in particular, to go out here and work a full-time gig along with raising her family and make a bazillion calls to the Demorats who never return a phone call, make calls to the Republicans, and then she finally get a call back from Miss Stacia Hall. So I hear, you know, people in these spaces talking real greasy while not even doing the work. You know, a son is an unsung hero in this fight, and she's been here since the very beginning. She is one of many co-founders of the contemporary reparations grassroots movement. I mean, it takes a lot for her to even get on the mic. But when I tell her I need her in a space to help me out, to co-host, to drop knowledge, because she is so knowledgeable, because she's been fighting longer than even me. You know, a lot of my fights started very humbly when I discovered Yvette Carnell on Boyce Watkins' channel. That's how long ago, that's how recent it is for me, rather. I was working Bernie Sanders' campaign and discovered that, and started getting political education, and met a son shortly thereafter, but she'd been at this much longer than me. So please, let's not disparage each other's efforts. It takes a lot for everyone to get out here with their own resources and keep reparations relevant. But the legislation and the policy is the direction we're moving toward. So if she's got an American freedman who's not beholden to a Republican or a Democratic Party, but is running on a Republican ticket, then we need to support that, because that's vetted, right? That this is someone I know and love. Y'all know and love me. And so if I trust her sound decision to get behind Miss Stacia Hall as a candidate, boom, what do you need me to do? And that's how we need to be in this contemporary grassroots reparations movement. We've got to help each other win, family. And we're all fighting until we're dog tired. I'm dog tired right now. Sometimes my words don't come out right when I need a nap. But forgive me, because the show must go on. But I'm just saying, let's not disparage Miss Hall or Miss Powell for their efforts to get tangibles right now. Reparations may or may not come. It's the long game. I don't have a crystal ball. But what I do know is that our people need remedy right the fuck now. Do you understand? We've got the highest rates of eviction, the highest rates of homelessness, the highest rates of unemployment, the highest rates of underemployment, the highest rates of incarceration, the highest rates being executed by the race soldiers, unarmed Black men, women, and children. Now even the deputized get to execute us and get a slap on the wrist. So we have a 911 situation on us right now. Please don't disparage those of us who are working tirelessly for immediate solutions. Go ahead, Vuck, you pay me. Bless the mic. I have to mute, sir. That way there's no feedback for those who are listening live. Thank you.
No, sis, I appreciate you, man. I'm honored to be blessed on the space. Somebody bless the mic. The mic is blessing me. I want to say first to Miss Stacia Hall, I've only caught the tail end of every space where they're talking about you, sis. And I've only heard rave reviews about you. Oh. You know what I'm saying? As somebody who is on code and like with the Black Grassroots, all I've heard are good things. Like Stacia Hall, your name keeps ringing. So I want to really encourage that sister and affirm that sister and coming up to the mic, because I really, really, really want to hear what that sister got to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not just by myself. Like the Black Grassroots, we are wide open to Republican candidates, the Green Party candidates, the Blue Party candidates, to whomever will forward our agenda, especially if we can kick it to the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't give a damn about all that stuff about Republicans. I don't buy into it. And I really, really, really want to hear that sister speak. So I just wanted to come on mic and say that. Secondly, Sister Asun, you with CAP, right? Capital Accountability Project.
Yes, she is.
Yes, I am.
Okay, sis. So I'm going to DM you because I'm in the DMV.
Oh, that's awesome. Please do, bro. I appreciate that.
I'm going to DM you. I think you follow me. I think I follow you, though. But I'm going to DM you because I'm in the DMV, and I'm not the only one. Like, we did a whole pull-up in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, we're going to support everything. We planning the November 5th rally right now because, I mean, that's what's coming up. I just seen something else coming up, too. I'm about to hit my boy up, hit my brother up here in Baltimore, and we're going to see what's popping. And we're going to, put the back call out to whoever else in the DMV. Like, every effort we can use, we need to use it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to definitely DM you about that. And my third thing is reparations. I think you alluded to this. This is a long game. It don't have to be. We could get reparations by 2024. That's just how unstable and unpredictable and sporadic, our current government is. But this could be a long game. And I was in a space some days ago about like, what do we do if we don't get reparations? And I'm like, well, we need to ask the question is, what do we do if we don't get reparations by a certain time? because it's not guaranteed to get it in no 2024, 26, 28, or 30. But we have to have a path that we are willing to stay on and that we're not going to compromise on. And I see Sister Stacia came on. I'm ready. I'm about to mute my mic, and I drop down and land my plane, sis.
Thank you. Before Stacia blesses the mic, I'm so thankful to the spaces that are speaking highly of her. Do know that this was a sister that was open at the top. And she was so thankful to see a son come on the scene. And what I love about a son is she didn't wait to hear from Stacia what her plans were for Freedman. She bought her what the plan should be for Freedman. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to stop asking, what's your plan, and bring them the plan. And we don't know when the reparations is coming. And I say, yeah, we got to keep our fight going for that as well. But because we don't have a crystal ball, we must weaponize our vote. We must value our vote. And we have to stop spreading rumors like the vote don't matter. Republicans and Democrats alike are counting on you to not come to the polls and exercise the right that our forefathers and mothers died for us to have. They didn't die for us to use the vote to enrich white folks and immigrants. They died so we could strategize. They didn't even have the education we've got. They didn't have social media. And yet they weaponized that vote when it was time to, when they saw they couldn't get civil rights from the Republicans. They changed parties and went to the Democrats to get it done without the devices we have today and without the education. So please, let's weaponize the vote. In the meantime and in between time, stop being politically lazy and leaving the fate of our line to chance. I can't leave the fate of the line to chance. I've got to close the border, and I'm using my vote to do that. Party be damned. Go ahead, Stacia. You can bless the mic. Lord, we all off the script, but it's all good.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. Before she comes on, I got to introduce her because it wouldn't be right.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hassan, 1 second before you introduce her. Could you please put her Cash App and her website in the Jumbotron? You know I don't know how to do it yet. Thank you. Go ahead.
No problem. I'll get it. I got to re-pull it again. But allow me to introduce to your room and thank everyone for staying on. I would like to introduce a historic moment, a historian, and a person that is now setting the first official record for the first female self-declared American freedman GOP candidate for the nation's capital. One of the most humble, most open, and now my personal friend, Miss Stacia Hall. Please come on for us.
Oh boy, thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for being so warm and welcoming. I'm a Republican, and y'all so warm and welcoming. This is a testament of how I know this is divine. I know this divine order, and I'm just get right to the point. If I got anybody on this here space that is in the least contemplating sitting your behind down, I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you, and I'm going to tell you, I'm living in D.C., y'all. I came from a good family upbringing, but I made the choice to take money from the government and live on welfare for a great bit of my life. And knowing all that was in me to contribute to the world, I still chose to take welfare. But one day I decided that I hate this system. I hate how all this is, it's a snare for specific people. And so I got out of Florida I've been in DC since 2016, and I've come to know the city. I've come to know the other states, Maryland, Virginia, and I'm in DC right now, and I made the sound decision. I knew what I was doing because I like to tell people this. I've been through a lot in my life, and I know that struggle, through suffering, you learn obedience, but you obtain favor with God and man. I know that. I had a nerve to look at it that way, but I know what I'm doing because I know that my suffering, what I've been through, and my one day y'all hear about it because it's going to be in a book, that I've obtained favor. And so I said that I refuse to be a person that sits. I am going to live up to my name, and I am going to stand up for my people. I understand when people are lazy and they want to complain. I know all that, but I know it's deeper than that. I know that people are just doing that because they're trying to get out of them the frustration. And so it was important for me to figure out how could I get the best attention and the fastest possible manner. I was watching Donald. I said, I like his style. I like his style, even though he's called the white supremacist, et cetera, it's still something powerful for him to do. It's gonna capture people's attention. So I decided, I said, okay, I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna switch parties and I'm gonna run for something in DC. But I'm gonna switch parties. I'm gonna run as a GOP candidate so I can get, if it ain't nothing but 25-30% of their help with my no money having self, I'm gonna go and get some kind of help from this party because I know I got favor. And I know I got favor. Money can't buy favor. I ain't got to have no money most of the time with favor. And so I have enough sense to know that I had to switch parties because I'm in this place, which is a Democrat stronghold. And I needed to to captivate people, have them wondering, why would she do that? And she know the struggle, but she joined forces with them supremacists. Democrats, not Democrats, Republicans are not, they're supremacists, yes they are. They prideful, like that kind of supremacy. They're prideful. So they think that we're still in those days where you ain't got to tell them nothing. They know better. They'll come up. They're in the position right now where we can correct them and get them in order for us. If you sitting down right now in this day and time, not a good idea. Why? Because I can guarantee it. I'm guaranteeing you it's time, it's harvest time. If y'all ain't up, if y'all ain't trying to find some kind of way, if y'all ain't getting strategic, I'm telling you, it's just not good. You've got to be doing something. And so that's why I'm running. I'm running as a Republican. And I'm running and I'm simple. And I go to work every day. And I wish I had more time to campaign, but I have to work. And I have a daughter to take care of. So, and I got a rabbit to see about. So I got to work. And plus, I live in the wealthiest ward in DC. So I got to understand the language that is spoken among the wealthy and the affluent. And I look the part. I do that very well, but I don't have the deep pockets they have. So I watch them and I sit and talk and see how they go about their lives, which is quiet, and they're very snake-like. They just slither in and slither out. and so I just said all that to say this. In DC, our sisters and brothers, I go into those wards a lot. I go into them a lot. I come out of the wealthiest ward and I go into those wards a lot. And I do it, and I've been doing it before I was running. And I was doing it because I like to go and spend time with my people, just be around my people majority rather than it just being among people that are just, it's a mixed situation. But my people need help. Our people need help. And I encourage them a lot. I say, whatever you do, just go, let me help you. Let me give you some leads. Go find a job. If the job paying in DC minimum wage is 15, I say, get the job and you will see how you can work hard and work your way up. My desire as DC mayor is to show the rest of the city that American freedmen are coming up. They're gonna, the education disparity, we're gonna resolve that. The crime, we're gonna give the children somewhere to go after school. We're going to create programs for parents, mentoring programs, so the parents and the children can come together and heal their relationship. We're going to create unemployment resolutions. We're going to create we're going to even fix this whole illegal alien, I call it invasion. Get that in order in DC. And it's going to feel, for many people who want it back, it's going to feel like the nation's capital. We're going to get these living wages. We're going to get, it's a list of things. The war zone neighborhoods, the illegal immigration, the wages, the unemployment, education disparities. Many of our people are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder because they're exposed to the chronic violence in those neighborhoods. And the mental illness unit and task force, juvenile delinquency task force, where these children have to be they have to be be given another chance and taken off the streets. It's a list of what would be specific for our people. And then the Freedmen Caucus is going to be right there. They're going to be right there, and they're going to be there. I'm going to announce them, and they're going to be known in DC for helping to pull those communities up. And I can guarantee that when I become mayor, I'm guaranteeing it. I put it in writing, and you check me on it. It's gonna take place because we only got a little bit of time, and this little time that we have, we gonna prosper. We gonna rule, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacia. You guys are going to have to tune in next week, where we're actually going to be hosting on the Freedmen News Network platform, Miss Stacia Hall, where she's going to I'm going to be the host on that platform. And let me tell you guys in advance, you're going to see me change up a little bit. I'm not going to be cursing and screaming all over the place. You know how it is when you are amongst family. I'm free when I'm amongst you guys. I can say it like I see it. You guys have seen me cry. You've seen me. I'm an empath, especially for American freedmen. And I feel safe and I feel comfortable because I know I'm amongst family. Although I'm getting a lot of judgment lately about the way I carry on, but it's my style. It's who I am. And I just bring you my full authentic self in these spaces. So, but you know how you have one face for your family? And when you go to your corporate job, you have to get some act right about you. Well, I don't want you guys to think I've turned on who I am authentically, that I'm freely able to express over here with you guys. But when I am being asked to interview candidates and white folks are going to be in that space, I won't be able to call them repugnant clans. I won't be able to call the Demorats who they are. I have to be professional, right? Because I want to be invited back. I don't want to disappoint Asan nor her chapter getting work done in the DMV. And so just know in advance that there's lots of folks from the DC and the national RNC that are going to be in that space. I don't even know if we'll have comments on. We're going to have a lot of folks who we know in the new black media, the not so new black media. Those of us who got about 1,300 subs apiece. We're the little engines that could. Those little outlets are going to be live streaming that particular broadcast. So look out for the marketing on that. That will be next week. I think next Wednesday at 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, and 8 Eastern. So yeah, you'll get to hear more from Stacia, and we'll have a lot of Republicans in the space because they want to hear her platform, and what we're praying is to pull their votes in because they're not a huge base there, but we need Ward 7 and 8, which is our people. As Asan said, if you're in the DMV, please, please, please go help knock on doors and introduce Stacia to them and get those voters to the polls for Stacia. You know, I believe that we can win this. I know that it's 2 weeks out, but you guys know I'm very spiritual, and I believe in us and our capacity to tap into our inner Christ to go out here and get this done. I don't think we have to wait till 24. But a lot of this is predicated on you guys linking with the Sun to go into the community and help out. We need to do the heavy lifting. We are the change we seek. We are the leaders that we seek. So let's be about that work in that business. I see you, Rella. Bless the mic.
Hey, big sis. Both of my big sisters on here. Oh, I just feel the love, man.
Yeah.
Stacia, what I tell you, Stacia. They was gonna love you. So when I met Stacia, I actually reached out to her just, on good faith, and she is exactly what you see and what you hear. And she responded. I was a random stranger. I actually saw her in a debate on YouTube. She was debating Mariel Bowser and there were 3 other candidates along with herself. And her and Red were on there. He's also running. But Stacia stood out to me because she was already speaking the language of the American freedmen. And I'm so glad that she is already being polished and understanding what it is. And I think she already had a foundation already. And so what drew me to her, one, is the fact that she has faith. Because I do believe in the man of above. I do believe that there are things that happen by divine calling.
Oh, yes.
And also she understood the difference between Bible thumping and action. And I understood her message as to how we're going to go about this thing. And running as a Republican, I think is going to be the best thing for DC, because what Mariel Bowser is doing is a travesty, and they need a reconstruction. They need a reconstruction, repowering, a repair, and I think she's the one to do it. Matter of fact, I know she's the one to do it. And I know Asan and Cap, as someone who's kind of like temporary on the sideline, I will say I'm full on with Cap. You will see me this weekend. Please make sure you send me the information. I am a part of the V, and I will too also be picking up my mantle and running as a Republican in the state of Virginia as a senator. So wish me luck, and we're going to put this thing together. a centrifugal force to be reckoned with. And so for those of you who've always heard me, running around and stuff, doing stuff for myself, Lloyd down in the box, we had Alexis, and then hopefully we can reach out to Samantha. But we're gonna get this work in for this East Coast freedom and movement that's coming. We are the Reconstruction that they missed, but we about to give it back to them. So I'm with it. I'm so proud of you, Hassan. I'm always in all of you. Marshall, everybody that's part of CAP, that's always putting in work. Definitely the reparation perspective, the uncomfortable, Miss Angela. You both keep me inspired and keep me moving, along with, my big sister Friday Jones in the California Task Force, Camilla Moore. We all we got, pretty much. And, we already know the brothers got our back, so it ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm down, and I love y'all. I'm in my plane.
Sis.
Can I jump in real quick, Angela, before? Thank you.
Let me hold your thought, Hassan. Hold your thought real quick, Hassan. Let me, because it'll leave my mind. Just real quick. Thank you, Sister Rella, for blessing the mic. I couldn't be prouder of you. I'm just blown away. Anything I can do, share my platform to help you go viral, anything, just I'm a phone call, an email, a tweet, a DM away. I love you, Freedman Strong, all of you for that matter. Secondly, Hassan, if you could please, before I forget, if you could jump over into, mute your mic for me, sis, because it's a lot of feedback. I'm almost landing, so you can jump in. If you could please, please, please remember to put all of the notes from the Jumbotron over in my screw tube so that my co-host in the chat can take a part in all the action items. Thirdly, before I forget, I want to tell you that we have a real opportunity with the Republican Party because they're split between the rhinos and the MAGA. Now, the best way Son contextualized this opportunity for me when we were trying to decide how do we explain the difference between the rhinos and the MAGA. Well, it's just like when Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. went over to East India and he realized there was a caste system, and he realized that the East Indian Brahmin caste were at the top of the food chain and the Dalia people were at the bottom. Well, when he came back to the States, he likened American freedmen to the Dalia. Okay. Now, Kamala's people are from the top of the food chain. They're East Indian Brahmin caste. And then some went on to help to contextualize it by describing it, wherein the boule, all the immigrants that are holding public office along with the American freedmen holding public office, and the boule, like the top 10% of the wealthy within the black experience, they would be the rhinos, like the richest and wealthiest whites within the Republican Party, the true conservatives, right? And then the MAGA would be akin to the American freedmen. Yes, I know they're white, they're wanton white supremacists, but they're the poor ones, right? Like, remember back in the day when we were the slaves and they were the indentured servants? And then we were trying to come together to do like a poor people's campaign. Then, somebody from the top 10% of whiteness gave them whiteness as a booby prize. And they somehow felt that whiteness made them superior to us as blacks, because that's what they needed as a social construct to put their poor whites in line and make them indentured servants. I mean, a lot of them are living like a lot of our poor. They're in the trailer parks. Those of us that are in this space at least have nice apartments or condos or townhomes or houses. Well, you've got the MAGA who they were the insurrectionists. Those are the poor whites hollering that we're sick of you giving away our citizenship and our constitution to folks who just got here, and it's making us even poor. Well, guess what it's doing to American freedmen? We're even lower than they are in terms of wealth position. So that was just a beautiful way to help me understand and to help me share with you the divide within the Republican Party. Donald Trump represents the MAGA, the poor whites, the ones who are fighting for citizenship and the Constitution. And that's why you see the rhinos or the more conservatives like Mitch the Bitch, right? You see them hating Donald Trump. Just like you see the Demorats hating and demonizing and trying to pretend Donald Trump is more racist than Joe Crow. And when you do this and you've got a media that you pay for, then you can sell that narrative to beguiling American freedmen who are more afraid of a Trump boogeyman than they are their own erasure and replacement with their vote for the Demorats. Because this wasn't happening under Trump to us. And if immigration hurts poor whites, you put that on COVID, and now you got an impact that's genocidal for American freedmen. If we can't work and make American wages, we can't participate in home ownership. Hell, we can't even pay rent at the rates they're going. So then we have to become our family's reparations. And that's not how any of this is going to work as long as I've got breath, as I'm sure it's true of all of you who are over here for this edutainment. Okay, go ahead, Hassan, bless the mic. Then we're going to, I guess I'll just do this article another time because I see hands and I want them to weigh in. Then we got to go give some love to the co-host in the chat. Go ahead, Hassan.
I just need 10 seconds to first, as you've already done, but I want to do it too, to let Brother know. Sis, you know, we roll and we roll hard. I love your spirit. I know what you've been going through, and you take your time. When you're ready, you know, we're standing here with you. But I wanted the platform to know we are getting ready to make another historical moment happen. What you see, these three speakers, myself, Rella, and Stacia, that is the DMV family. I am also running in the 2024 election. I know Angela knew. I know that Stacia knows, and I know that Rella knows. So we got a Maryland representative, we have a District of Columbia representative, and we have a Virginia representative sitting amongst our family, the American freedmen. So I completely salute all of those who are stepping up as we're growing, as we're evolving, as we are now saying we will take control over our political future, because we understand that that translates into our entire future for our entire generation. So I applaud all three. Well, I know we have Lloyd here as well. I know I see Phoenix Star down there. So I know we got other candidates here, and I'm just saying to all the Freedmen candidates, thank you for taking off that hat and putting on that candidate hat, because it's a lot to put yourself out here, to be scrutinized, to be dragged. A large part of that dragging comes from your own tribe, and yet we still persevere because we see the bigger picture. Honor to all of you all that are in here that are saying, I am now going to be a part of that scrutiny for my people because I am ready to deliver change. Amen. And I just want to applaud all of y'all and say thank you. And I land.
That's just rich beyond rich beyond rich. Marcel, if you're anywhere out there, the Freedmen are hearing you when you say you do it, you run. And I couldn't be prouder. I am just over here beaming. I'm ready, if I had the energy, to do somersaults and to the dance around the house. That's how thrilled I am, because I know with these sisters running and the brothers that are running, that our future is in the best of hands. And so, family, these are your vetted These are the ones you can trust. If they're over here on the TRP platform, if you trust and love me, it's just an extension of your trust and love for them. Vuck, you pay me. I'm going to let you, can I let you go last and let Insane, then go to Patrizia, then you, and then we're going to my chat. I'm going to save this article for the next time. This is just too rich. I'm just going to flow with it. Go ahead, Insane Optimist. Bless the mic.
Hello, Reparations. Assumed, Stacia, and to everyone else in the house, Rella Rise from the DMZ. Great space. And Stacia, I really like your strategy because overall we know the intent is to take care of the citizens of DC versus the non-citizens. So I think that will resonate with people and they will appreciate that. So by all means, hit them with the shock and awe, surprise them. That's what you're doing coming in as a Republican. I think that's great strategy. We just need momentum and enthusiasm behind you. So furthermore, I just want to say that I shot off 2 emails, made some calls, and I don't know if we're supposed to call today and again on Monday, but I will listen for your directive. Again, great space. Keep doing what you're doing. I can't think of anything more that I would want to add to that, and I will land my plane there.
Thank you, as always, Insane Optimist, for blessing the mic. Patrizia, bless the mic, my love.
Hello, family. First off, hats off to all of y'all that are running in the DMV. We need you. To Sister Stacia, I live here in DC. Ma'am, please hold a space or something. It's some of us that are just now finding out about you. I was to the point where I was like either no vote or red grant. I'm dead serious because that's how horrible it is. Y'all don't know here in DC, but listen, you are amongst the grassroots. And so use that to your advantage, hold a space. We gather us. We are here for you. I know me, I can be voluntold, okay? You can voluntold me. Listen, check this out. I'll tell you how the Lord works. When I first found out about you, it was through a post that Brother Naheem had put up. And I said, wait a minute, who is this? And so I went to your platform. And I immediately, it says, send a message if you have something to say or whatever on your platform. And I sent a message out and I said the same thing that I'm saying tonight, that you would do a space or something so that we could gather around, see what we can do to help spread the word, whatever we need to do, because my population, I work with a population of nothing but Black men that are eligible to vote. So tell me what I need to do, whatever help you need, I'm here. And I appreciate the Reparations for having this space and inviting all of these wonderful, wonderful freedmen to represent us in the DMV because we need it. That's what's up. I land.
Thank you, Patrizia, for blessing the mic. Assam, make sure you put where they can be in contact with you to get their marching orders. This is the beauty of social media, family. We can literally help grow. We grew this movement through social media, right? That's how the co-founders of this grassroots movement made reparations a household name after it was collecting dust for the last 30 years. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Okay, Vuck, you pay me. Go ahead, bless the mic, and then I'm going to read a couple comments and pray us out.
Wait, I think we got one that I heard you.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see. I don't see it. But yeah, go ahead. I'll let Vuck you pay me go, and then Haru. Then you can bless the mic, okay? After him, and then I'm going to read my co-host over on Screw too. Go ahead.
Oh, I'll be real quick then. I'll be real quick. I had a question, but before I ask my question, I wanted to say, Sister Stacia, thank you for coming up, and thank you for blessing the mic, as the Reparations say. I got a feel for your spirit, you know what I'm saying? And I like it. And I am gonna go to your website and, do my due diligence, but I just want to say thank you for coming up here and representing us. You sound real, sister. And that's something we've been lacking. Okay. Now my question, there was a brother named John Cheeks who was running for like DC delegate or something like that. I forget what y'all call y'all representatives in DC. I assume they raised their hand already. All right, so if y'all can tell me what y'all know about John Cheeks and the reparations bill that he introduced a little bit, not too far back, but like it was like 2018 or something like that, but I think it was struck down. And I don't know what the deal is with that, or if anybody knows him, or if y'all are still working with him. It wasn't perfect. I read it. Believe me, I read it. It wasn't perfect. But I just want to know if anybody's, aware of who that is.
Can I comment on that, Angela?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. So yes, John Cheeks and I, we've been working together for about 2.5 years now. Yes, he did write the I can't remember the name of his bill right now, that he's currently now turning it into a book. John Cheeks was running to replace Eleanor Holmes Norton. He was an at-large candidate. He ran twice. He lost, obviously, both of his runs. He is not running this year. He is doing work behind the scenes. If I don't even know if John's website is still up. If it is, then he has a short version, because his reparations bill was close to about 500 and some odd pages. So, he worked on that. He simplified it down, so he has a extended version and a shorter version. Essentially, his reparations bill was the founding base of Minnesota. The reparations bill that is now being looked at in Minnesota through Trey Hearn. Trey Hearn used John Cheeks' reparations bill here in DC. Now, the reason why it never passed and it was introduced into the General Assembly, it never grew legs. We attempted to get it added to the ballot, just going directly through the election board. We were not successful in that. And so now John is just working behind the scenes to assist in any way he can, as he now extends his arms, his hands, and his legs out into the Baltimore area. And so, yeah, I do know him personally. We've worked together, as I said, for 2.5 years now. And he's doing well, but he's not running. He's not in the political arena at this time.
Thank you so much for that, sister. When I say it wasn't perfect, I definitely read the short version. I didn't know it was 500 pages. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I bring that brother up is because what he did was notable. And I was wondering if anybody knew of him. You know what I'm saying? It's been like a couple years since I remember him on the scene, and I read the legislation as far as what was accessible to me online. So yeah, I hit you up in the back channel though, sis. Thank you for really informing me about where he is now and what happened to that.
Oh, no problems.
Okay. Haru, did you want to bless the mic, or you good?
Yeah, I threw my 2 cents in there. How y'all doing?
Sure.
Peace and love to everybody. And thank you for getting the name right. I think definitely more of us should be familiar with that term, Haru. But anyway, to the sister Stacia, I'm from Washington D.C. I'm from Ward 8. We got similar story because I live in Ward 3 now too myself, from the poorest ward to the highest echelon ward. But I know the time is limited, but there's one thing I heard you say that I really just want to give you a bit of advice on. And that's like, you seem like your heart is in the right place, but I heard you mention trying to get the votes of Ward 7 and Ward 8. And I just want you to be mindful of going into those communities with a similar rhetoric
that you spoke tonight, using words like, sort of implying the way you were implying that people should vote. And what I'm trying to say here is like, we should be winging people to vote based upon what we're going to do for them, not based upon badgering them to make them feel inclined to vote. Because like, I don't think that's going to work at all in Ward 7 and Ward 8, especially by you being a Republican. Like, you already got, hypothetically speaking, that strike against you. Like that, a lot of people want to look at it, turn their face already. So I think to be more embracing and to persuade the people to ride with you based upon what you can do for them, not what they should do. And I'll close in, like, I just want to remind everybody the great Malcolm left us some Jews for this subject in the 60s. We all should go back and watch the ballot or the bullet. And just a quick quote from that, Malcolm said, the ballot is like the bullet. You don't throw your ballot until you see a target. And if that target not in your reach, you keep that ballot in your pocket. And that, if for me personally, it don't matter if you red or blue. Like, because I ain't never voted in my life. And I came here today to see if I heard something that would entice me to change that stance. I heard some good stuff, but I didn't. But yeah, for sure. Like, it don't matter what crew you with, it's you for the cause. Like, we got to get our agenda pushed, not just fall behind these specific groups. But, I respect what y'all doing, and much love.
Thank you for blessing the mic, Haru. Just your being here lets me know that you are open at the top to hear something that will compel you to weaponize your vote. I know what Malcolm said, but I'm here to tell you we are now in 22, and a lot of withholding the vote is how we got here. We didn't weaponize the vote. So we've evolved. I've evolved. Let me just speak for myself. When I went out here last election cycle and voted Demorat down the ticket, and now I see what I signed up for. Now, I didn't vote for Kabami and Joe Crow. I voted for the Congress that we now have. That, that trifecta that's voting to give away our reparations and protections. Because I wouldn't say misinformed. Someone helped me to understand that one of the biggest problems when we were advised to do that was they were afraid the programs would go away without anything to buoy the American freedmen who rely on all of these programs. So I understand that that's why that was being taught to us to go out and do. But it was a failed strategy, because right now, the only ones getting housing and food stamps are the immigrants. I have mentioned on my prior lives how here in the state of California, specifically SoCal, well, in the state at large, the illegal immigrants now outnumber American freedmen who have been legislated out of the state of California. They number 2.3 million to our 2 million. And Gavin Newsom has designs to run for the presidency and do to the country what's been done to the state of California under his leadership. It's very, very dangerous because unlike these immigrants, we have nowhere to go. This is our country that our ancestors built with their lives. And so I have taken Malcolm's message and gone in prayer about my Freedmen protest voter strategy. And because I realized that the Demorats overpromise and underdeliver to get us sheep walking to the polls, to deliver them the White House to our people's peril. And the Republicans, they don't owe us because we're not their loyal lapdog voter base since FDR. when I went inside within myself, that image likeness of God in which I'm made before I'm even flesh, I went into prayer about the Freedmen protest voter strategy. And when I realized, as my inner Christ advised me and gave me guidance for our people, is that it's not a party thing. It's a freedman flourishing thing. Because the Demorats have declared war on American freedmen. And their missile is immigration with the American freedmen vote to erase and replace us, akin to how you see our history being whitewashed and all manner of thing they're doing, very twisted and sordid. And so what I'm advising, and you can take it or leave it, is that your ballot is your bullet. Your ballot is your missile. And it's for the very reason that we've been misused to deliver the immigrants and to deliver Joe Crow to our own erasure and replacement. And so when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You have to see that closing these borders and getting every one of these 5 million plus illegals out of the country leaves space for us to be made whole. And how do you know that, Ms. Reparationist? Well, I'm glad you asked. When Donald Trump was in office, our unemployment rate for Blacks in the state of California was 5%. Under Joe Crow, we're over 11%. And it's not changing, right? Like it's not getting better, it's getting worse. 11% was in April of this year. And so being in a state where we've gone from 17 to 3%, I understand the imminent threat that immigration is to not just our livelihoods, not just to us flourishing as a people, but to our vote. And if we don't get out here in Barack Obama style numbers come the midterms, our vote will officially be rendered powerless come 24. Meaning, our votes for the Demorats and not defeating them with a direct hit, a direct missile for closed border and vetted reparations candidates only, party be down, will be the green light that the Democratic Party needs to finish our vote off. It's the only commodity where we have a modicum of power because they've already neutralized us economically. And now they're coming for the vote. So we're out of time. And immigration and putting a moratorium on legal immigration and getting all of these illegals out of here, okay, is a real tangible for American freedmen who are being crushed. We're being crushed by immigration. Hassan and then Lloyd. Hold on.
Really quick, can I just quickly, it's going to be so quick and I ain't going to say nothing else from there.
Sure.
But I just got to say, like, your response proved exactly what I just said, like, literally, because I spoke on and backed up Malcolm saying, basically, don't tie yourself to a party. You tie yourself to certain political agendas that you want, no matter who's going to push it. And your response was exactly tied to a party and was strictly about another party. And that's exactly what I mean. And respectfully, it kind of reminds me, because I noticed this a lot in politics, it's like the movie Idiocracy. Like when people speak on things that's really not on subject, but like it's so much emotion behind it that people get caught up in how it makes them feel, even though it really has nothing to do with what we initially was talking about. It sounds good, but like the point still stands. That had nothing to do with kind of what I said, but I'm a cash out with it.
So let me address what you asked, okay? Because I am Stacia's official Freedmen campaign manager. You asked about, or you spoke about feeling like what she said it wasn't specific for you. It was more of a blanket. When you go and you look at her website, there's a clearly laid out specific policies and plan for Black America, which are the American freedmen specifically. It's not for Black immigrants. It's not for anyone else. It's for the American freedmen population in DC. We are very clear. We are very clear that we will not accept trickle-down policy, sir. We are very clear that here in this freedmen space, it is freedmen first, freedmen second, freedmen third, and fourth. We are also clear that in order to secure her win, she understands that she has to be freedmen first to get our support, but she also must be citizenship also when it comes to all the other ethnic groups in that city. That does not take from the fact that she has a specific agenda for only one group, sir. And I want you to understand that, and I want to make it clear for her, because she's new to this space, and I am her campaign manager to secure that the freedmen in the nation's capital understand. You got her as the candidate, and you got me as the backing. I would not even consider backing her had she not made a commitment to make sure, one, that she meets with us every 6 months if she gets elected, to ensure that the freedmen's interests, policy specific, are always looked at for her entire mayoral time when she gets elected. And if she doesn't get elected, we have already agreed again, let me reiterate this, that she's going to continue her relationship with the freedmen specifically, not with the Hispanics, not with all the other groups. We are the only special interest group this sister has taken on. Okay, so let me speak in her behalf, because I hit her and said, sis, I'm going to ask you to stand down on this one. And you let me speak for you, because I got your back, because I'm your campaign manager for the freedmen. See, that's a freedman sister runner. Okay, and she may not be as savvy when it comes to being more clear about the freedmen space and how we feel and how we move. But please understand this for everyone. She got a freedman to the core, from the bottom of the soles of my feet to the top of the hair on my head, that rides and dies only for the freedmen, sir. So if you are in DC in Ward 3, let me see, I'm going to pull your coattail. You want something more? You show up on Saturday in Ward 7 and 8. You come and you speak to both of us personally. And let's see you put your boots and your money and your mouth on the ground and get her elected. Then we can start talking about what else you would like to see. But I'm going to call you now to the real deal. Come out here in these grassroots, sir. Come out of that rich Ward 3 and come on back down over to Ward 8. And let's get this sister elected. And then we could talk about all your other concerns. You don't get to have that conversation, sir, on a Twitter room space. You get to have that, sir, in front of both of us. And then we could talk about what else you would like to do. And I'm going to land my plane.
I said I was going to cash out, but wow, what a response. Like, I tell you, man, one thing about this internet, like, man, you don't even know me. I'm a real Washingtonian on the radio. You don't know what I done did on the grassroots. I'd like to say, like, I don't get to come in here and say that, vote her in first. Like, wow. Like, and you the campaign manager, you got to be mindful, like, especially, like, you know, people won't come for her. A person that take that clip and run with that, like, that was not a smart response. I'm gone, though. Just like your energy just threw me way off. And believe me, I'm in the field. I'm in the crash.
Before you go,
it's my turn. Rolla, it's my turn.
I know, Lloyd, but give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. You know, when we were campaigning with Marcel and we were down in South Carolina, we heard it all. We heard people say, you know, he needs to talk a certain way. He needs to be a certain way. He needs to be polished so that other people can absorb what he's saying, right? And he's still himself. And that does not take away from, I think, the person like people like Haru who live in the community. But I will say that the pushback is the people in the communities also have to show up too. That is the one thing I do agree with when I hear other people running for office, that they're like, oh, we need to show up to the ballot, but they never tell you to show up prior to the person getting in office. They never tell you, hey, I want your American Freeman to show up and come meet me so I can hear what your concerns are, right? So I think Hassan saying, whatever your concerns are for 7 and 8, if you're going to be that loud and that vocal, show up and say it in person. So now we have a documented record of we getting ready to do this together. If your feelings are that hurt because you think that someone's supposed to stroke your ego, first of all, we are beholden to our mission. We are responsible to making sure that we get what we need. You don't got to like me. You don't got to like what I'm saying or how I say it. I'm not disrespecting you, your mama, your grandmama, your lineage, or asking you to vet yourself all over Twitter spaces. But if I'm asking you, especially if I'm Virginian, and I'm asking you to show up, and I'm asking you to show your face and come meet me, and let's get some things, put down on paper, that to me should challenge you to come and do it, because now you are actually getting ready to put some skin in the game. That was our issue when we were campaigning with Marcel, and we still are supporting Marcel. So just for people, for context, don't ask for something you're not willing to give. All the Malcolm quotes, all the Martin Luther King quotes, even me, who literally engulfed in history, I can pull it out and sling it like the rest of them. But it's not going to matter if we don't get out on the ground. That was our problem. The community wasn't showing up on the ground. This Twitter Spaces has shit to do with whether or not you're a Washingtonian, a United States citizen, other than the fact that you putting your skin in the game where it matters. Not just you showing up, yelling and hollering on a corner somewhere. Put your skin in the game where it matters, so you don't be doing stuff that's in vain.
Go ahead, Lloyd. Bless the mic.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for letting me come up. So here's the thing, that I'm really disappointed that Haru left, because I think that he's a very intelligent young man. I picked that up very quickly. He's extremely intelligent, but I don't think that what he was saying was being heard. And I think that what we've allowed to happen is that we have not defined the difference between government and politics. So what I would say to him, and it appears that he's left, but if he can hear me, what I would say is stop focusing so much on politics and look at the government process. And our problem, I disagree with a lot of people on this. Our problem is not that we're not getting anything. Our problem is that we don't have the representation at the table to get the things that we want. And when we get an opportunity, we don't have an ask. It's, we want reparations. Well, how about let's do this? Here's the reparations plan that we want. We don't say the Asians got housing or immigrants are getting housing. Why don't we say we want housing over here? Because our entire argument is based on a what about situation. And we've never, I had a very big argument with some folks about this on a space a couple months ago. We don't have an agenda. Our agenda is based on what we see other people getting and then we say it's not fair to us. But that doesn't work. So when people, so I'll just bring it all back home by saying this. When we do not groom our own candidates, vet them, identify them, vet them, groom them, and then make sure they're elected, we don't have representation when stuff is being divided. Politics is all about who gets what, when they get it, how much they get, and who's going to get, how long are they going to get it. If we're not at the negotiating table, all we're ever going to get is what's left over, and that's usually nothing. So I think that when folks like Haru come on, we have to start making sure they understand, wait a minute, it's not about politics at this point, it's about government representation. And we're not getting anything because our Do Nothing Congressional Black Caucus will not represent us. And yet, once again, using Marcel as an example, we reelect them. Because I don't think we really, as a collective group of folks, of American freedmen, really don't understand what the hell those folks are supposed to be doing. They really don't understand the power of a United States congressman other than when they walk into a room, people stand up and start clapping for them. They don't understand what a senator is supposed to do. Hell, they don't even realize that the city council decides where subsidized housing is going to go. So we don't bother to put people on those bodies. So that when someone says we're going to put it on the north side, we can say, no, hold up. It's going on the south side. And I'll use my vote to make sure we don't get it on the south side. Ain't nobody getting it. So bringing it back home, please let's start making sure that everybody understands the difference between politics and government. And you vote because you need representation in government. And I'll land there.
Well said, Lloyd. Thank you for blessing the mic. But I do believe Nasd was talking with, and Hassan, you were a part of the Repair Act, so you can speak to this better than me. But I know that Nasd had a Repair Act, and then there was an 1865. Hassan, are you there? Can you share that about that with the viewers?
Yeah, I know that Lloyd knows that we have a lot of things already laid out, but most people here know about NAASD. Most people know that we've written the Repair Act, that it's been introduced to Biden administration. Most people know that a lot of us here on this screen are currently meeting with the OMB, right? We have multiple sessions. Most people know that we've also penned the HR 1865. Which is the bill that we're hoping will replace HR 40. We have policies. We know exactly what we want. We are not the days of old when it comes to our political expectations now. Now, Lloyd may be absolutely right in recognizing that some of us don't understand the role of government versus politics. Politicians. Just like in DC, people don't understand what does it mean to be a federal city, right? People think that Muriel Bowser is like the top, but she's not. Essentially, DC has 535 governors. What? Who are those governors? Those governors are the congressional seat holders. That's who they are. So whatever Muriel Bowser, if she, let's say, signed this bill to give these immigrants the right to vote and they're illegal, we are already in position to know how to handle that. We're handling it on the legal side, and we're handling it when it comes to the congressional people, right? So we are not the days of old when it comes to the American freedmen, where we were afraid to get involved and engrossed in politics. We have these things. And Stacia's, her website is another one that's clear about that. Because I came there, when I first got with her, she had 0 when it came to us on her website. As a matter of fact, we discussed based on some other older videos I had watched of her. I picked up things that were concerning to me, right? And as a representative for the American Freedmen, we had to hash those things out. I had to help her to appreciate our stance, for her to be willing to concede and say, you know what, I didn't see it that way. So let me go and let me readjust it this way. Right? So we understand these things. We have evolved, family, and I don't want anyone to take from us that, yeah, we may have been politically really ignorant in our days of old. Some of us still may be in a confused state when it comes to this political game. But there are a lot of us that are now literally almost at ancestral points when it comes to our knowledge and understanding of our political structure. We have policies. Most of us here know exactly what we want. The Repair Act defines at a federal level exactly what we are demanding. And then in our local spaces, those who are actually doing the work, they have a complete layout. Most of us know that we are running the OFA 51 campaign. That's the Office of Freedmen Affairs, 50 states plus one, which is DC, right? We have a complete laid out demand. We have it down to a budget. We have it down to the number of staff. So don't assume that we don't have these things. It's just that some people have not plugged in and connected to the grassroots organizations that are really out here getting that done. And so again, I'm going to say, man, I'm going to land very quickly. Stacia may not be as well versed in our space than a lot of us here, because a lot of us here, when I look at this screen, I know y'all have been here for 3, 5, 7 years. 2004, some like me, some like Lloyd, who have been here that you just didn't know about, right? But now we're coming together, meeting at all different levels. Stacia is just like that. And she's growing and she's evolving every second, every minute, every hour of the day. So again, I'm encouraging people, you got any concerns? The same way Rilla came to her without me even knowing, Rilla had already reached out to her. And then I found her, and then I reached out to her. And then we were able to craft up things, craft up specific policies, and give her the data, because we know that we live in data. I'm saying, support her. You got an issue? Come on out. Meet with us in person. I'm just like you. I'm an absolute nobody when it comes to out here in this big giant world. But I made myself a somebody when I reached out, and then I showed up right front and center with her. And I was out in the streets of DC until 11 p.m. last night. Even when she left her own conference, she left me behind with all these GOPers. And here I am not knowing nothing, but you don't think I stood in that hot water until 11 when this sister had to leave at 9? We got this. We just need you all support. Come out, talk to us, help us out. Let's try before she gets elected. If you have something that's really bothering you, the time to let her know about it is now, so that we can craft that plan.
Hassan, can I just, I don't know if we want to talk about this back channel, but I have a real concern about what I'm reading. And I think that it may be just an issue of clarifying.
So again,
on the website,
we can talk about concerns, because nothing is perfect. She's evolving, like I just said, right?
Right, and what I'm asking Hassan is, do we do it back channel or do we do it now? Because she's in the room.
No, we don't. We don't hash out personal concerns in our Twitter space. You know how we work, right? So we can communicate on the back channel. We don't do that type of stuff in an open forum where everyone is. We don't know everyone that's in this room.
Okay, so I'm going to ask that we get together tomorrow, because, and again, it just may be the language.
So just hit me up, and then we'll talk about it then.
All right, great.
All right.
Thanks, Hassan.
No problem. Thanks, Lloyd. So for everyone else, This is our mayoral candidate. She's open to walk up to her and talk to her. Like with all of our other Freedmen candidates, the GOP is not funding her, right? She needs your financial support around the nation. Imagine the win for the American freedmen if we could capture the highest seat in the nation's capital with an openly disclosed American Freedman person this time. A person that's already on her website put the Freedman Caucus that no other person has been willing to do. She's already created and given us our own caucus. I'm asking you all to support her. Go to her website, check it out. Anything that you find that you would like for her to address, you can hit her directly through her website, or you can hit up Cap or hit me up personally. Those who actually have my numbers, you all know I respond all the time. Let's get the work done. Let's get her elected. But if we don't want to get her elected because you have something that you found that is indifferent, let's talk about it. Those who are on the grassroots here, you get the best of it because you get to come and see her in person. Have your concerns written down, family. Bring your whole list. We can't say, she can't say she's going to be able to put everything on it. But what we will say is, we know as the Freedmen, we got the ear of the potential next DC mayor. And that means something. We can get what we can't get done through the campaign. We can darn sure get it done once she's elected. So just support her, come out, talk to us. You will find we don't always bite your head off, but we got to protect her and we got to make people understand she's not going to her message is not going to resonate with every person with everything. We all have our different feelings and our different ideology, but she is freedom, American freedmen focused, policy driven specifically. And that gives her enough grounds for us to say, let me reach out and work across the aisle and let me get what I want done. And then I'm going to land.
Thank you. Satra, you go ahead and bless the mic, and then I'm going to pray us out. I know The Rock. I know you want me to keep going, but it's over 2 hours. I promise I will bring the article back, especially for you. You were first in the chat over here on ScrewTube. I will not forget about you. I will be doing the rest of the articles the next time I go live. Promise. Go ahead, Satra. Bless the mic.
Okay, great. I think Morella and maybe somebody else got their mic open. But thank you, Miss Reparationist. I just wanted to ask, because I do see Miss Hall information up. If someone else be so kind to put the other candidates, I heard 2 other young ladies saying that they were running, if they can put their websites up on the Jumbotron, and I guess in the Reparationist YouTube. And unfortunately, the young man is gone. And we learn from our elders, but with Malcolm X, his time he spoke, we were the majority minority. It was before the Immigration Act. It was before this big influx. So sometimes we do learn from Dr. Clark and all of those, and they did certain things to build our self-esteem. They did certain things to teach us history, and they did certain things to teach us strategy at that time. But today is a new strategy, and I would like to know all the candidates, if they can put their information up so we can be able to read it and learn. And also, I've been asking if we can have a think tank where we can talk real. Because I was a YouTube person, and someone told me to get on Instagram, which I don't know how to use, and Twitter, and I'm just learning how to do Twitter. But I don't know if Patreon is a back wall we can get on and be able to have some think tanks and set up. You know, there's a DMV group. I'm in Georgia. There's a Georgia group, and we can really dissect and break things down in grooming these candidates, because I'm not judging anyone, but everyone is not a Marcel. You know what I'm saying? He's different. And I try to explain it to another space when it came to Johnson Shealy. They thought she wasn't as strong as Marcel, but she's speaking to all of Georgia that is majority white. Marcel speaks to his district that is majority black, and they're Gullah Geechee, and they're Freeman, and they know heirs property and all of that. So, you know, sometimes you have to know who you're talking to, even though both of them on the reparations plan and agenda. But however, Johnson Shealy in Georgia have Republicans saying, yeah, you're right. Money should go to the American freedmen before immigrants. You know, so everyone has different strategies. And everyone has to talk to their group, because they got to get votes not just from freedmen, they got to get votes from everyone, especially if you're running for senator. I think Georgia, we can groom our senator, and I think maybe possibly Mississippi, Alabama, or Louisiana. So I know people don't like it, but please, you all consider, if you're already going to move south and enjoy this beautiful weather and this low cost of living, your big salaries up north and out west can allow you to live very comfortably here in the South. And let's win Georgia and get Mississippi, Alabama, or Louisiana, because all we need is 2 senators, and do the same thing those 2 Asian senators did when they held up Congress to get what they wanted to get passed for the Asians. We can do the same. I land my plane. Thank you.
Sasha, that was fabulous and powerful. Thank you for blessing the mic. Yes, everybody is unique and brings something extraordinary to the table. I do want you to,
Angela, can I say this one thing, Angela?
I just
want to say this.
You sure can.
Yeah,
Don't lose
ahead.
your thought. Let me just finish this part.
I'm gonna hold it.
Okay. Hassan, I do know that Hassan and probably several others are with the Freedmen Party. I do know that they do training, candidate boot camps. I hear also Teslin Figaro or something of that nature. She also helps to groom candidates. So family, you don't have to feel hesitant. If God move on you and say you're the one to be chosen to run for public office at any branch, we need all of it, from the school board all the way up through the president. Shout out to Ashaki. I'm going to have her on the platform. She's actually running for president as an independent. I'm going to have her on November 13th. Looking forward to that. So yes, please reach out to Hassan Powell or the Freedmen Party to get your candidate training, or Teslin to get your candidate training. Go ahead, Sister Rella, then I'll bless us out.
Thank you. So myself, and I'm going to say this again, myself, Black Political Swingers, Lloyd, Alexis, we were an entire team, along with, I think, other people that Marcel was working with, that all have a different perspective. We also worked with Tamara, Reverend William Somerville, who's also running in California, 42nd District. And, you know, when I hear people say, you know, we need a think tank, we already got it. We got it. I invite you in. Matter of fact, my DM is open. People need to tap in with us. I'm not just a space holder. I'm not just a host on Spaces. Matter of fact, the young lady who owns Black Political Swingers, who was heavily into pushing political candidates when we first started on Spaces, we held a meeting with all the candidates doing this groundwork. And this is what I keep telling people who are now coming in saying the same thing we were saying in the beginning. You are not saying anything new to us. We need you to come in so that we now can evolve. Capital accountability. NAASD is having a meeting. They also help with candidates that are running. Tesla is doing push the line training. All the platforms are available and open. And I want people to understand that it's not frustration you hear in my voice. It's the pain of us who were doing it with these candidates that people are now coming up and saying, hey, we need folks to understand everybody's not like Marcel. We knew that. We you know why we knew that? We knew that because when we pushed the candidates, even like Brandon Dean, who folks literally came after Brandon Dean because of how his platform was, didn't even know we were working with him behind the scenes on things that he didn't want to change. That was not us. And sometimes people need to understand that the candidates also have a mind of their own. And they also are making sure that they want to keep and hold whatever they personally believe in, and that comes through fruition in their platforms. So we not Johnny come latelys. We not old, new to this, or whatever you want to call it. We've been doing this for years. Matter of fact, my mother had just passed away, and I was still on the ground doing stuff after I came home. Hassan knows. And so I'm going to say this to everybody under the sound of my voice. Please get to a point where you join these organizations so you can come in and have the conversations with us of your concerns. I don't call concerns complaints. Concerns are responses to issues that have not been addressed, and that you need to bring them to the table so we can start to build and get them on the platforms for the agendas that need to be pushed in government so that we can see them realized. Again, the onus should be on the people who are voting to get to work. Because if I'm already putting myself on Front Street to open my life up to the world, somebody gonna have to put some skin in the game too. And that's how I feel about that. All right, y'all. Peace. Love you.
Thank you, Sister Rella. Yes, this is the beauty of coming together in these spaces. We get to find out where the work is being done so we can get to work. We've got something for everybody. These organizations have been on the move since Kamala threw her hat in the ring on Howard's campus for the presidency, right? So yeah, please, let's utilize each other, especially in these spaces, to let each other, to clue each other in as to who we are, what organizations we rep, and how they can get involved. That's super rich. I thank you so much for that.
Angela, do you see Ashaki running for president? Do people know that?
Yes, I just announced that I was having Ashaki. Okay. I'm having Ashaki on as my guest on November 13th, and I'm super excited about our time together. I actually have some information, and her information. We've exchanged information so that we can have a round table with a couple of my comrades who are very trusted and near and dear to me, so that we can all get on the same page as to what freedmen need. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing that she's running for president and that she's running as an independent. I'm super excited. She'll be my guest on November 13th. Remember to come back next Wednesday, Stacia Hall. I will be hosting her along with Hassan Powell as her Freedmen campaign manager on the Freedmen News Network. We will be getting that marketing out to you. Pronto stat, I see one typo that I have a word that's missing in the title that I've got to have added before I share it. Y'all know how I am a stickler for the King's English, even though I speak Ebonics often. With that being said, family, I am worn all the way out. I have been flashing my chat's comments, and they've been epic and they've been rich. I'm so proud that you guys get me when I say it's not a party thing, it's a Freedmen flourishing thing. And I too wish Haru, would have stuck around long enough for me to, share that. And I'm just so thrilled. I think it was Satra who mentioned that, yes, we're grateful to Malcolm and the ballot or the bullet and to withhold the vote, but it's a brand new day. She's absolutely correct. The Democratic Party has overwhelmed us with immigration. You figure there's 46.2 million legal immigrants, with another 11 million screaming on Pelosi's head to get citizenship. Those are the DACA that the courts are holding up from citizenship. Thank God for the conservative courts doing that, or we'd be finished. That's what, 46 plus 11? What's that, 57? And then you've got 5 million illegals in the country that they're racing to get voter right. They don't even know the King's English. They ain't been here 5 minutes. And you see the city councils all over the country giving them rights to vote. This is crazy. Our ancestors fought and died for this right. Okay? And so when you add them and then you add the people who are still going to go out here voting blue no matter damn who this midterm, along with those who want to say no tangible, no vote to withhold the vote, along with those who are not going to use the missile to annihilate the Dems by voting third party, you add all that up and you will see that we are outnumbered and we are out of time. And I don't give a damn which party you with. If you are talking about closing these borders, but let's keep it a buck, the party that's seeking to do that is the GOP. I'm on some party be damned. I've got to shut this down for my daughter's sake and for my grandchildren and my son-in-law that have yet to be. I need to leave this place better off. You know, when I transition, I want a better America for my daughter and my whole line. And I want the same for your whole line. So let's get this done, family, and be unafraid to push the button to close the borders. Tansy, thank you for the information about Mayor Bowser. If you could please, while I pray us out, put the numbers there. I don't want, when you do calls to action, it's got to be comprehensive. We got to give them the script. We got to give them the numbers. You know how CJEC and NASD has rolled out calls to actions. They've been very, very thorough. And we need the same when we enlist the people, because the comrades want to help. They're waiting at the ready. Shout out to each of you that helped us to overcome Reginald Jones Sawyer trying to extend our reparations proposals and change the face of the task force. It was the National Grassroots Reparations Movement that helped us to get that vetoed. You also helped us get lineage-based reparations. And I want to shout all of you out because it takes a village, akin to the way we're going to be there for the DMV and CAP to defeat this bill to give illegals who are fresh off the boat and fresh off the bus the right to vote. We're still fighting for rights to vote. You mean to tell me they would move to give illegals the right to vote when our paroled and those the ex-felons who are now freed, they don't even have the right to vote? These are your Demorats. So I do hope you understand that and you get busy with this vote and weaponize it over withholding it and making a space for these legal and illegals alike to have more of a stake in the country our ancestors built with their lives than even we do. Okay, Rella then Hassan, quickly, because I got to pray us out. I'm at like 9:23.
No, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the space. Shout out to Black American Homeland and American Homeland with the Black Majority Movement. And also, no taxation. We are hosting next year, the reparations movement for next year. So I wanted to put that out in the stratosphere to please keep tapping in with us. And we're going to have them numbers for y'all because we are connected to some great people who are doing work, who are putting us in the right direction. So, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Angela.
You're so welcome, sis. Go ahead, Hassan. Bless the mic before I pray us out.
Real quick, I just wanted to remind everyone to please check the Jumbotron. What you will see is two announcements from CAP. One is the call script with the phone numbers and with the email. The other one is the email script already provided for you. All you have to do is just kind of write it up, copy it, text it, do whatever you have to do, and get the message over to Muriel Bowser about stopping the illegal immigrants from voting. Also, please, those who have gone to Stacia's website, thank you very much. Any input, any comments, any recommendations, please shoot it over to either her, or if you're not able to connect on her website, you can also come through CAP, which is also up in the Jumbotron, the CAP website, as well as you can back channel CAP or you can back channel myself. We are there. I'm asking everyone, the entire Freedmen Nation, we need you all to shut down DC Mayor Bowser's emails and shut down her call lines. We need to bombard them like never before. They need to know that the Freedmen Nation is here. We're not going anywhere, and you don't, regardless if you're us, regardless if you look like us, regardless if you want to play games and talk like you're talking to us. We know the game. We will shut you down where you will not make any movement in the nation's capital until we secure that you will not allow these illegal immigrants to vote. And I land. Thank you as always, sis, for allowing me to speak and host. Family, let's get motivated. Let's stay charged. Let's get up. We're not letting anyone ever again in history take what's ours, starting with this immigration vote. Please shut it down. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you so much for that, Hassan. Okay, well, it looks, I actually retweeted it over in Twitter space. You can find me at the Reparationist Perspective, because it doesn't appear to be something I can copy and paste, unfortunately, in the chat. If Tansy is still here and can actually do that for me, that would be so helpful, so that when people come to view the archives, the information is already with the broadcast. Okay, family. So yeah, I need that to happen right away. Pronto stat. If Tansy is still here, or if Hassan, if you could copy and paste the information in the chat over here at ScrewTube, that would be so very, very helpful. With that being said, family, I am just so proud of us. I truly, truly am. I'm thankful to each and every one of you that tuned in live. You got to talk to your friends. You've got to talk to your family. You must make these messages go viral. The ancestors are speaking through each and every one of you to get this work done. It's not just me, although I was born to talk. It's each and every one of you who have been given gifts that you can express and expound upon for the line. We have no friends, family. Okay? We just have a common interest to close these borders so that freedmen can tread water to get the right candidates at the table. We're going to push when we bring our agendas forth, okay? That's the work. That's the work, family. Thank you so very much for being here. Know that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever freedmen and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. If no one's told you today, know that I love you so very much. I love you Black, and I love you Freedmen Strong. And until we meet again, which probably won't be until next week, because I'm going on a much needed vacation to turn up with my baby sister for her 50th, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your week until we meet again, like I would say next Tuesday or Wednesday with Stacia Hall. And until then, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, and reparation. Yeah, family, thank you so much for your kind words, for being my co-host, for always having something incredible in your brilliant, beautiful mind to continue to be explained. I don't think you know how truly grateful I am for your contribution to the representation of family. Thank you so much. Do I still see you? Y'all, I gotta go pack. I love y'all, Black and Strong family. Yes, I do. Thank you. Very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Peace.